In about 2 hours, you're going to get bitten twice on the forearm, reaching into a woodpile behind a farm shed in the dry hills outside town. And by the time they find you in the farmyard, you will not be able to lift your head off the ground or make a sound that means anything. Minute 0. The woodpile has been there since the start of the dry season. Mopane log stacked against the back wall of the corrugated shed, taller than you are, wide enough at the base that you have to move around the side to get at the bottom layer. The afternoon is hot and very flat, the kind of heat that sits on everything without shifting. And the only sounds are the dry grass ticking in a low wind coming off the hills and the occasional crack from the tin roof of the shed as it contracts in the cooling patches. The hills themselves are rocky and brown and close, all thorn scrub and loose shale and the occasional flat-topped acacia, throwing a shadow that is not big enough to do much good. You are here to clear the bottom layer of the woodpile and bring it down to the main house in a wheelbarrow before the light drops. Simple work. The person you usually work with left to get water from the main house tapped 20 minutes ago and has not come back, so you decided to start without them. The wheelbarrow is propped against the corner post of the shed. You start pulling logs from the middle section of the stack, working your way down toward the bottom row. You pull a piece from the second to bottom row, and a log above it slides a few inches and settles. You crouch down and reach for the bottom layer. The snake is between the bottom logs and the ground, and you do not see it until it moves. It does not go away from you. It goes up, the head and the front third of the body rising in a smooth arc off the bark, the inside of its mouth a pale off-white like old bone. And by the time your brain has assembled what your eyes are sending it, the strike has already happened. Twice, right forearm. You lurch back hard enough to knock your shoulder into the shed wall, and 3 logs from the top of the stack shift and fall, and the snake is through the gap under the corrugated wall and gone before you are fully standing. You stand there and look at your arm. 2 small marks close together near the inside of the wrist, barely bleeding. You press your thumb against the skin and it is tender, the way a new bruise is tender. You wait. The grass moves, the tin roof settles, nothing happens. Your arm does not burn. You do not feel sick. You feel almost exactly fine. You pick the wheelbarrow up off the ground and set it back on its legs and stand there 1 more minute watching the gap under the shed wall. Then you start walking to the main house. Minute 15. The path from the shed runs through rough ground first, loose shale pieces that roll under your boots, dry scrub that hooks your ankles, a line of acacia thorn trees the path cuts between at an angle, before it reaches the flat grass section that opens out toward the main house. You have walked this path in the dark, in the rain, carrying things, distracted. 15 minutes on a normal afternoon. You set off at a normal pace. Somewhere in the middle of the shale section, a taste moves into the back of your throat. Metal. Like old coins left in a pocket, like touching your tongue to a tin can. You swallow and it stays. Then the corners of your mouth change. Not numb, not yet, just slightly wrong. The skin going unfamiliar the way it does in the first seconds after a dentist's needle, before the real numbness has finished arriving. You touch the corner of your lip with 1 finger. You keep moving. The shale section is behind you and the path flattens out into the long grass and the main house is visible at the far end. The tan walls and the red roof through the pale dry grass. Maybe 500 meters. You do the math quickly. Walk at this pace and you will be there before anything serious happens. The thinking is still clear. The legs are still legs. You keep going. Then the right eyelid drops, just slightly. Just at first. You notice it the way you notice a smear on your glasses. Something fractionally wrong in the upper corner of what you can see. You blink hard and it comes up for a moment and then drops again. You press your finger against the lid and hold it. A minute later, it falls anyway. You stop walking in the middle of the path and look at the main house at the far end of the grass and try to shout. What comes out is not a shout. The words are all there inside you. You can hear them in your head the way you want them to sound, but between that intention and your mouth, something has gone soft. The consonants blur into each other, the hard edges of each word are missing. You try again, the same result, and you can feel it happening in real time. And you cannot locate the mechanism that would correct it. You start walking faster. Minute 30. The grass section has no real path, just a line of more trampled grass, and underneath it, the ground is full of old hoofprints baked rigid into dried mud from the last rains. The surface like rough cobblestones through your boot soles. You stumble twice. The right leg is not dragging, but there is a half-beat delay in it. A small gap between sending the signal to step and the step actually happening. Not enough to fall, but there every time. The swallowing is the thing taking the most effort now. It used to just happen. Now you have to think about it deliberately. Find the muscles in the back of the throat and remind them what to do. And even when you do that, the motion comes back heavy and slow. Your body is making more saliva than usual and not clearing it well, and it pools and makes you want to cough. And coughing costs something, and you are starting to feel that your resources for this are not unlimited. Your right eye is now barely open. The left is working normally. The world is split on one sharp and clear on the left, dim behind a dropped curtain on the right. And the uneven ground is harder to read. 300 meters to the main house. For several steps, it almost feels like the thing is leveling off. The right leg is slow, but not getting slower. The throat is managing. The left eye is clear. You take a good stretch of steps and think, maybe the strike was shallow or the dose was small. You know probably it was not. But for those steps, it feels possible and you move at your best pace and you almost believe it. Then the swallowing ceases between one stride and the next. Not gradual, just suddenly not working mid-motion. And you have to stop and tip your head and breathe through your nose and wait. Your right hand, hanging at your side, is curling slowly on its own, the fingers drawing in toward the palm without instruction. You look at it and tell it to open. It opens after a moment, slower than it should. You start walking again. There is a wire fence at the end of the grass section with a gate on a hook and eye latch. You reach for the hook with your right hand. The fingers do not close around it cleanly. They reach the right place and slip past it. You try again, left hand helping, and get the hook up and push through the gate. You leave it open behind you. Hour 1. Between the gate and the main house porch there is a gravel section, maybe 50 meters, and then one step up. That is all. You keep moving and make it most of the way across the gravel before your legs decide they are finished. It is not the way falling usually is. Both knees go down at the same time and your palms catch you on the gravel. You stay there on all fours and try to push yourself up. The arms cannot produce the force. You get to one knee. You stay there. Your chest is working wrong. A few minutes ago, each breath was not quite filling the way it should, like trying to breathe with something resting on your chest, the air coming in part way and stopping. But you could manage it with concentration. Now, the bottom of each breath is genuinely unreachable. The chest is still rising and falling, but the air it is bringing in is not enough, and your body is burning more effort on each breath than it is getting back from it. You can feel that calculation going wrong with each one. The porch is 15 meters. You open your mouth to call out. What comes out has no volume, no shape. The voice is just air. Your forehead goes down onto the gravel. The gravel is hot from the afternoon sun. You do not lift it. Footsteps from the direction of the porch. The crunch of someone crossing the gravel fast. A voice above you, saying your name, saying things. You hear every word and understand each one. You cannot answer in any way that means anything. The person turns your head and looks at your face and goes very still for a moment. That particular stillness that means they understand what they are looking at. And then they are running. This is what the venom is designed to do. It carries compounds that move into the spaces between your nerves and your muscles and sit there, blocking the signals traveling through, not destroying tissue, not dissolving anything, just cutting the communication. The eyelid muscle stops getting the signal to hold itself up. The airway muscles stop getting the signal to work in rhythm. The chest wall stops receiving the full instruction to expand. Nothing is broken. All the machinery is still there. It just is not receiving instructions. From the outside, the 2 marks on your forearm look like almost nothing. That is the mechanism. The animal does not need a large wound. It needs only to get the compounds into the blood, and the blood will carry them everywhere. What follows is pieces. A voice on a phone somewhere behind you. A folded jacket put under your head so you are not face down on the gravel. The sky above is white blue and very wide, and the sun in it is going orange at the edges as the afternoon tips. You cannot move the right arm at all. The left is going. There is a count running in the back of your head without you deciding to start it. Each breath arriving and the wait for the next one and counting that one too. And the breaths are getting shorter. The truck comes. 2 people lift you into the flatbed and the road to town runs through a section of rocky switchbacks, 40 minutes minimum. Each pothole transfers straight through the metal into your spine. You lie on your back and watch the sky shift from orange-white to a deeper blue as the evening comes in across the hills. You count the breaths. Shallower, still coming, you count them. At the hospital, there is a needle and a bag of fluid and a doctor whose voice stays at a professional level the whole time, which is somehow worse than alarm would have been. Ceiling tiles, white. Fluorescent light, the breathing is still wrong. At some point, the ceiling goes away. Days later, the eyelid comes back first, then the swallowing, mostly. The right arm is nearly 3 weeks before the grip is reliable, and even after that there is a hesitation in it. A small gap between the intention and the hand actually closing, like the signal is traveling a longer route than it used to. The farm stays. The shed stays. Someone moved the woodpile to the far side of the property while you were in hospital. A different stack in a different place, and you have not gone to look at it. What gets you is the sound. Not necessarily a woodpile. Any stack of timber where a piece shifts and drops against the one below it. Whoops. That particular hollow knock, dry wood on dry wood, loose pieces settling. Your right hand is already pulling back before you have decided anything. Your body has made a decision and moved on it before your mind has even identified the sound. Standing in a timber yard 6 months later, watching someone sort planks, you are 3 steps back and your hand is at your chest before you understand what you heard. The 2 marks are still visible on the inside of the forearm. Faint now, 2 small dots barely worth pointing at. You reach for things more carefully now. Stacks, gaps, anything you cannot fully see the bottom of before your hand goes in. That sound, the settling wood, every time. And that's it for today's survival adventure stories. That was pretty crazy, right? Well, it gets worse. The next story is even scarier than this one. You really need to see it. Just click the video right now. You won't believe what happens.